Well, good morning, friends. Jeff Allen off the Gridiron, and today I welcome you to a new little mini series I came up with. And essentially, I have a number of videos created that look at knives and different builds and books. So I created a mini series starting today with episode 1, looking at books, blades, and builds. So welcome. So first book that I want to bring to your attention is the Bushcraft book by Mors Kochanski, Outdoor Skills in Wilderness Survival. You may also find it in your store titled Northern Bushcraft, also by Mors Kochanski. The books are identical, and page by page they show the exact same material. I do want to bring this to your attention because many people are looking for resources other than YouTube. And again, this is going into many of the different main skill sets that are required for bushcraft survival and living, including such things as firecraft, axecraft, knifecraft, sawcraft, bindcraft, looking at cordage techniques, sheltercraft, looking at the birches in chapter 7, all about some various alders and poplars and so on. The conifers, a whole series on that. The willows, the shrubs, the moose, and the hare. And I was especially drawn to the section called the moose. I follow the television show Alone on History Channel. Perhaps one day I get another call for another interview. I did interview a number of years ago. And with the current season right now, one of the contestants gets a moose. So this chapter was quite laid out, and I was just wondering if that person on Alone is going to make the most of this moose and be able to salvage so many of the parts and be able to extend their stay and perhaps win. So the book goes through many different, for example, drawings. So each of the chapters and sections has different drawings about how to, in this case, process and tan the moose hide, as well as smoking it and so on. So it'll be interesting to see how the person makes best use of that. So I thought of that chapter as I pulled out this book today to share with you, but it has many great images and content, which is well written, and the pictures simplified, and they generally make sense and are accurate. One of the things that you really want to see in today's world is accuracy and authenticity, which you don't often see with some of these YouTube created pictures. I know there was another book that I won't name, but the author reached out to me to have a copy and shared my thoughts. And one of the first thing I noticed from the front page is the characters, even though they were children in a characterized form sitting around a campfire, they had an incorrect number of fingers, and some of the pictures inside the book referencing pack contents were just a variety of random pieces of unknown pieces of kit that looked great in the picture, but they also didn't serve a purpose. So for that reason, always check your resources. But these books, you can't go wrong with either one of these. Bushcraft, Northern Bushcraft, or the book called Bushcraft. Either one of these should be in your local stores. So that's a quick book. And Mors was also well known for carrying the Mora series of knives, or Mors Kochanski. This was one of a very thoughtful gift. I'm a school teacher by trade, and one of my students actually gifted me this. And quite often, his name was Alan, if you're out there, Alan. And we would spend time, he was a knife fanatic. And as a 14-year-old, he could name, and we would go back and forth with either names of knives or companies at recess. and back and forth, you know, Tops, K-Bar, Mora, you know, Scandinavia, and we were just going back and forth with names, just as a game we would play. But he gifted me this. This is one of my first Mora knives, stainless steel. It is still as sharp today, and it has seen a few tours. This was the Light My Fire edition. You can see Light My Fire there. And kind of well-used ferrule rod, but this is again a high-quality ferrule rod, and it snaps in, and it's all part of the knife. Super lightweight. I like this is kind of reminds me of the Cans bowl, where it has those two different, not only a short scanty, but then this finer edge at the top. Locks in, very basic clip-on sheath, and I want to share that with you because I know Mors Kochanski, kind of, God rest his soul, he brought the Moroccan knife to the forefront of many bushcrafters, and really kind of enlightened many in that field in what's required in a knife, and how this was such an appropriate style knife for all things that you would probably need for bushcraft. The term survival and the survival knives, a little glorified with the movies and whatnot. Some of them have their place and function, but in a situation like that, whatever you have, it's going to be kind of all you have. So just want to bring that to your attention. So we've had a couple of books, I've got a blade, and I've got a couple of builds. So this section looks at either DIY builds or modifications that I've done over my years with a variety of different kits. So the first one, you would take, for example, this is just a regular pot, but the interesting thing I did with this one is I noted that it was had the induction base, a very heavy duty base, and any prolonged cooking on an open fire, that would really protect the bottom. Additionally, it did not have a pot hanger on there. And we can look at just the lid. In fact, this was free of any kind of handles or anything. And now originally, this lid was just your standard lid. I've included a piece of cork here, should the lid get hot. Could easily grab that cork. That's to remain cool even when bare hands. So that's tucked under there. Could serve as an additional function as a bobber, or you blacken and char the end and you can actually create almost like a camouflage. So it serves multi-purposes that way. The modifications to the lid included drilling out some drain holes and sanding from both sides to ensure they're kind of not sharp. With that could also serve as a kind of a drinking and straining resource. You can kind of pour out any excess water, hold back any of your contents. On the sides, to allow this kind of bail, I wanted the holes drilled as close to the top as possible, so not to compromise the volume of material or liquid I could store in there. So these fit in like such. Now, to lock it upwards, I rounded the ends of the bail up, as you can see here, and that forced me now to adjust and drill these holes in the lid, but now the lid also stays on, and it also holds the bail up, so there's no chance of it falling over and getting overheated, especially over an open flame. And the last thing I did was just remove the bail here, was cut this notch, cut and bend this little notch in the side of the pot and lid, and now the lid, just align it properly, it just snaps into place and it locks down inside, so I no longer have to support that lid. That will actually hold the lid on and keep it in place. So those are a couple of different modifications to basically a thrift store pot that you can make that could make it very useful for your kit rather than spending money on some of these other ones. Today we have a bit of a two-in-one construction. This was a very kind of personal DIY project where it was a portable grill. Created a little bag for it made out of some old curtains, I think. Many times it's all covered in char. But this grill was based on much of the toaster oven grills you might get with these standoff feet. Sometimes it would be for a table setting and to put a hot pot on the table. But when I saw that, I had an idea. This is another piece of threaded rod, and this is it all closed up. So that piece of threaded rod comes out. And essentially there's three pieces. Here is half of one of those grates. Little different, but not too unlike this one. So with that and the feet pointed down, I took another grate, which again was a similar one for an oven perhaps, but it had these legs, these standoff legs. And how these go together is I figured how to wrap them up and under the first wire and tuck them under that first leg or that first foot. And I would do the same with the second one. Up and under, over, and tuck it under that first foot. And as it hung there, I wanted to strengthen everything and bind it all together. So with these two wires on the back, these were old, I don't know, very similar to a coat hanger actually, a little stiffer perhaps. I found a way to tuck it crossways and run this diagonal attaching to the back, and that holds that structure together like so. I'm going to provide the link up top to my original showing of this. And then that would be sufficient, but I wanted something with a little more. These grills aren't meant to hold a lot of weight. And I wanted something, if I had a big kettle on there and a fire underneath, that would support the weight. So the threaded rod, not only did it serve as a rod to keep this all together, I'm going to wrap it, put it back under, through the legs, through those little feet, all the way across. Reattach like so. There we go. And with that tension, it really just pulls everything together. There's no shaking it at all, and I can pick that up off the fire, put it down over top of my bed of coals, and cook on it whatever I might need to do. And it's quite sturdy. I think I could probably, well, 30-40 pounds on there with ease for sure. Quite sturdy. And then the pack down was the total reverse. When cool, pull your threaded rod out, release the two clips on the back, and essentially just reverse the process and lay it all down on itself. Sometimes it's much easier to pack up or set up than it is to take down. With either in like this, I could run the rod back through the setup. Like so. And it all stays united and together. And from there I can put it back in my bag, covered in ash, and it keeps it nice and clean and safe down inside my pack, very low profile, away from everything. So there you go, folks. First episode. Thank you very much for joining me. Again, it was combinations of books, blades, and builds, where we had a look at some of my DIY builds. Every episode will have those three things. Thanks for joining me today, Jeff Allen off the gridiron. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share, and click that bell notification to be notified of my next videos. I'm making quite a few these days. Thanks so much. Stick around for episode 2.